Okay, are we good now? Boop, boops. Okay, good. She was asleep, but Bailey is a diva dog, so she's like, it's showtime. So good to be here. Got a lot to talk about before I bring my guest on. A lot of news. Um, More Black Global stuff. But yeah, a lot of news. And we have a new channel member. Hey, Christy. Thanks for becoming a channel member. Woo-hoo-hoo. You can be a channel member too. Yay. So yeah, lots of news, not lots to share. I'm trying to keep it all together. Some things I can talk about, some things I can't yet share. So let's talk about the things I can share. Let me see if I can move a little closer to the mic or speak a little louder. So some of you probably saw, yay, I am featured in an article along with some of the homies. And AARP Sisters magazine. And it features myself, Rashida Dow from Exodus Summit, Mary Goff, who's now in Portugal, but this was when she was in Panama, Thea, who is in Italy, in Milan, and Latrice, who's in Paris, right? So all Black women talking about saying adios to America. So if you have not seen the article, I am going to drop a link to that in the chat. Yay. Thank you. I'm so excited it dropped. No, right? We are too young for ARP. I think. Oh no, I was gonna say I was the oldest, but no, because Mary was the oldest. I'm thinking about the order, but I was holding it down for the boogie down. Let's see, what else can I share? Oh man, so right now this is early bird tickets for the Job Liberation Virtual Summit. So Dr. Kimani and Marissa are hosting for the second year in a row the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. And baby, with all the foolishness that's going on in America, you want to be prepared, right? Be prepared. And so I will be giving a talk at the Job Liberation Virtual Summit. I am honored to be a speaker. So if you are a Black woman, you want to get your money right, you want to get your mind right, you want to get your move abroad plan in place, more or less like your move plan. Doesn't necessarily have to be abroad, but you want to be prepared for whatever should come. Liberate yourself from that toxic job. Those jobs don't deserve you. They're holes, okay? I self-censored. But they are, right? And so I have had my fair share, unfortunately, of toxic jobs. It is time to free ourselves, right? So get your tickets. I'm going to drop a link to get your ticket to the Job Liberation Virtual Summit and join us. So right now, they are in early bird until April 15th. And so that's Bailey snoring. Until April 15th. One of the great things about the summit, particularly given the times that you guys are experiencing right now, but also since this is the second one, this was how they've always done it. It's really preserving people's privacy. And so you don't have to worry about being on a Zoom and seeing, somebody or whatever. There's a lot of privacy that's built into the summit. And so that's what I appreciate as well. So I'm excited. Definitely get a ticket. And then the last one, I'm pretty sure this is the last one. So Black Global's turning 5 this year, y'all. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, right? I started Black Global in 2020 when I was still living in the States, interviewing, amplifying the voices and stories of Black expats living their best lives around the world. And now I am one of those people. And so, yeah, we turning 5. So Blacks and Global's 5 year, right? We turn 5, actually in my birthday month, which is June. But in true Krishan fashion, I will be celebrating my birthday in June. I will not be celebrating Blacks and Global. Blacks and Global's party is going to be in October. So, Blacks and Global, since we do have this like tie with the birthday thing, and last year, some of you know, I turned 50 last year, so I'm turning 51 this year. And I had a huge yacht party for my birthday. So then I was like, well, Blacks and Global's turning 5. I mean, shouldn't Blacks at Global have its own yacht party too? Yes, it is. So, if you want to party and help celebrate Blacks at Global's 5th anniversary, come on to Lisbon in October, October 23rd. This is going to be a ticketed event. Yachts aren't cheap. So I'm telling you now, if you got yacht budget or you want to start saving, I'm giving you plenty of notice for yacht budget. But I will tell you what's in store. So we will have 3 hours on a yacht, same yacht as my birthday yacht. We will do a wine tasting, light snacks, but we will sail along the Teju River in Lisbon. And that's one thing. But some of you also know I am hosting Exodus Summit for a meetup on October 24th. So there will be combo, like if you want to do both events, but we're still not there yet. But if you want to be in the know and get the deets on the tickets when they do go on sale, because both events are happening, okay? Exodus Summit has already been publicized within the groups, my group, Blacks Global Passport, Exodus Summit, right? But the yacht party was the thing that I was like, should we or shouldn't we? So Tanya said her birthday's in October. Baby, come celebrate. So I'm dropping the link. Join the mailing list. Those on the mailing list are going to be the first to know. Now, this yacht has a capacity limit. So do your best when those tickets become available. Have your yacht money ready. Okay? I'm just saying. Just saying. And maybe soon I will drop the video from my birthday because I have not dropped it. And you shall see how delicious it was for my birthday. So I know some of y'all have been joining the list. If you are a YouTube channel member, right? You guys got the first dibs of the list, as well as Blacks Global Passport members. And so now y'all are finding out, okay? Because I'm looking out for y'all. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate in style. Okay, so let me see who's in the chat and say my hellos. I've been talking for 10 minutes. Really? Damn. Ooh, I got to get better. All right. Because I do not like, I don't like burying a lead, right? I know y'all want to get into it. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll, baby, scroll. All right. First in the chat, hey, Cheryl, how are you? Hey, Jametta, Kay Renee's in the house. Tanya, hi, Marcus, how are you? Hey. Yes, I love it. Say hello to each other. Hey, Pinky, how are you? Action VJ's in the house. Hey, Craig from Philly. Hey, when are you coming back to Portugal? Hey, Karen. Oh, hello. Yes, the ABX girl is in the house. Look, we have an excited YouTube channel member. Yay, thank you, Christy. Thanks for the love about the article. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you. So, hey, KF is in the house. Long time no see, girlfriend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. Let's see. Hey, I'm glad you're here too. North Carolina's in the house, the luxury bucket list. Yes, yes, please. I hope you can make it. Y'all got advanced notice. Okay. You got advance notice. Yay. Hey, Makita. Yes. Look, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Look, I don't know. Maybe I'll get married on a yacht. Let me be careful. So, okay. Speaking of marriage, let's bring on my next guest. So, my next guest is an awesome person, and she's also a Black to Global Passport member. Yay! And she is planning her move to Portugal. She is married happily, and she is moving to Portugal solo. So, let's bring on Angela.
Hey, how you
Hey!
guys doing? Hey,
Hey,
Krishan.
good. Hi. Good to
Hi.
see you.
You too, hon. So wait a minute. My husband wanted me to ask what day in June? Because he's a June baby too. What day?
My birthday is on the 27th.
His is the 28th. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, fellow Cancerian.
he's he's probably on listening. Make sure I don't say anything too, out of pocket.
Y'all are too cute. Y'all are too cute. Oh, and the camera thing moving, I can't control that. That's just
Oh,
the
okay.
this new computer I have yet to still devote enough time to
Oh,
figure out how to
okay.
use. But in any event, I'm glad he's watching. And yes, oh, that's awesome. So I would love it if you would take a moment to introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Parker, and I am actually a creator and co-host of my own YouTube channel, Love Park Connection with my husband. I also have my own podcast, Unapologetically 50 Plus, that I just started. Um, and what else? We have a new book, or I have a book that I've written, and it's about my marriage, 30 years and counting. And I'm also in the process of creating some workshops and master classes for women 50 and over. So
Wow.
that's a little bit about me. And yes, I am moving to Portugal. Still haven't decided on the exact time frame, but I
Mhm.
will be moving to Portugal solo. Leaving Eddie
Wow.
behind just for a little bit, just for a little bit.
Little bit, little bit. Was it distance? Is that right? Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Well, yeah,
Absence make the heart go fond. I think it's
for a
absence,
little
but distance, same
distance can
thing.
too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got, and I know the audience, I'm sure y'all have questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. Bridget said, yes, let's hear for the grown and sexy crew. Yes. This is a grown and sexy conversation. I didn't do the Blacks at Global after dark lighting because I feel like it's not going to be, but so the obvious question, you talked about a 30-year marriage. You
Uh-huh.
guys are solid. You have a YouTube
Yeah.
channel together. You've got
Yeah.
this 30-year life and
Yes.
love. He's watching in the other room. And yet you've been on this journey to move to
Hmm.
Portugal. You've been in group. You've been coming to accountability group.
Yeah.
Um, what made you arrive at this decision?
Well, I'm gonna blame some of it on him because I started down this road because he said, "Babe, you've got to watch this YouTube channel," and it was Stephanie Perry.
Hmm.
And so I started watching. I had, this is maybe 2.5 years ago. I had no idea. I wasn't even thinking about moving out of the country. And then I started watching her and I started listening to all the adventure and all the wonderful things she was saying about other places. And as you know, being in America, we are so hyper focused on just America being everything, it's being great and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, I fed into that for 50 plus years. And then when I started listening to her, then I started listening, the next step was I found you The Algorithms Found You for Me, and then Our Black Utopia. And I was like, wow. And then listening to Our Black Utopia, another couple that has moved to another country, I was like, oh, okay, let me do some more investigation. Let me do some more research.
Mhm,
And then when I started realizing and seeing that living in another country, one can benefit us financially,
mhm,
health wise, just overall peace of mind. I said, you know what? This is something I want to do. And I've been talking to my husband about it. And because he's a musician, he's an
mhm,
only child. He was like, well, babe, this is something we need to talk about. So it was just a matter of, I want to try something different in the second half of my
mhm,
life. I don't want to have to worry about, okay, so living in, and I'm in California. So will I outlast my money living in America
mm,
and living in California? So that was another thing that kind of pushed me towards, okay, where do
mhm,
you want to live? And listening, like I said, listening to you and listening to Halisi and Rick, I was like, wow, um, Portugal sounds a lot like California,
mhm,
weather-wise, just the also having the big expat community there. I said, and that's
mhm,
really important to me, especially if I'm going to be doing this alone. I need to have a community where I can, be involved with and not feel so out of place. So
mhm,
that was really one of my big reasons for, wanting to move is healthcare, food. When we went there, it was me and my sister went and a good friend of mine. We went to Portugal in June, last June,
mhm,
and just the cost of everything, we were floored. The food was amazing, and we just had a really good time. And I felt at home with it. I felt
mhm.
at home being there. So I was like, okay, I could see myself here. So
Wow.
I could see myself. And then I got a chance to meet you and Halisi and
Yes.
Rick and a lot of other people. And it just felt like home. So I was like, I came back and, it's ongoing conversation with me and my husband,
Mhm,
but I just know that it's something that I have to do and I have to try in
mhm.
this second half of my life. I want to be living my best life.
Yeah, yeah, as
So,
you should,
yeah.
as you should. And you said a lot of things that I think is, number one, are important. But I think sometimes when people see headline like, "Oh, you're married and you're moving solo," automatic projection, automatic jumping and filling in, in their
Right.
minds what the details are. But what I'm hearing from you is respect for one another, where you
Right.
are in your respective journeys, um, acknowledgement of
Mhm.
that, where you
Yeah.
are, and your husband being an only child, you having this desire, communication,
Right.
right? Ongoing communication, negotiation. These are ingredients that contribute to the longevity of 30 plus years together,
Right.
right?
Right. And not to say that this journey isn't a little scary for me because
Mhm.
I always tell folks I've been living with this man longer than I haven't. So
Wow.
yeah, so it is a frightening transition.
Mhm.
Um, I actually went to, I'm in therapy because I feel like there's something that I need
Mhm.
to be able to work through to make this actual move. So,
Mhm.
and actually my therapist, she is listening in. So, but
Ah!
so I just thought it was important that, in order to make this transition, in order to get over this fear of
Mhm.
doing this alone, that yeah, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go back to therapy and I'm gonna work through this because
Mhm.
me to sit here and say, "Oh, I just can't wait to do it, and this is just gonna be the easiest move ever," would be a lie. It's going to be a
Mm.
challenge, not just for me, but for him as well. So
Absolutely.
there's gonna be a lot of transition. There's gonna
Mhm.
be a lot of I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of, "Did I did I do this? Did I make the right move, or
Mhm.
should I have just waited for him until he was ready?" And I I don't think that if I wait and wait until he's ready, that it's just going to be the right time and the right move
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
me. So,
Mhm.
and that's where we have to, like you said, the negotiation of it
Mhm.
and talking about it honestly, about how it is going to impact both of us. So
Mhm.
it's frightening, and it's a little, and that's why I've been really taking my time with it.
Yeah.
But if I don't do it, I think I'll be more upset with myself than if I just do it in fear.
Yeah, because I love that you recognize that therapy was needed because
Mhm.
you are navigating and you will continue to navigate a bunch of emotions.
Yes.
And sometimes, a lot of times, we are conditioned to swallow our feelings, to suppress our negative emotions,
Right.
to work through it on our own.
Mhm.
And what that does is that eats away at you from the inside, and you can be on a negative loop and talk yourself out of things and say, "Oh, you know what? Self told me to
Right.
stay my butt here," and all this
Yeah.
other things that take you away from your dream. And then to your point is like, well, if I don't do this, am I going to be more disappointed with
Yeah.
myself for
Right.
not fulfilling this dream than if I succumb to, these negative feelings? And I commend you. It's very brave to make that decision and also to share this decision publicly. Um, because you and your husband have done a lot of work and continue to do so. But I'm so happy and proud of you. This is
Thank
like,
you.
it's fantastic.
And I know another thing that, my husband was saying is, "Well, what about the kids? What about the grandkids?" Because we have 3 children, 2 grandbabies, and while though they're important, don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
we don't see them all the time, you
Yeah.
know? But he has been, what do they say? We're hooked at the hip, we're joined at the hip.
Aw.
So leaving them, yes, while it's hard,
Mhm.
they're adults, they have their own lives. Of course,
Mhm.
the grandbabies, I don't see the grandbabies that often anyway. And yes, that will be an adjustment too. But him, that's my best friend. I'm not gonna lie, he is my best friend. So it's really gonna take some adjustments. So
Mhm.
excited, but you know, taking it slow and continuing to have open discussions.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think one of the things that, I'm sure, you either are working with your therapist through or, we've talked about and or can explore in
Mhm.
group is how you guys stay connected, right? You're going to have an ocean that separates you,
8 hours.
time zone. Time
Right.
zones are real.
Yeah.
Money is fake, but time zones are real. Um, and being able to leverage technology to
Right.
help you all with this transition. And then I think one of the other things I want to add to that is you've been on this journey, you've been utilizing resources in the group, you've been going to the summits, coming to the meetups, all building up to this
Mhm.
move. I think what allows you to have a softer landing is that you have been formulating community.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Um, I have to say that when I went to the first meetup, it was, and I was by myself, even though my sister and my friend were there, I came in by myself. And it was, and I'm an introvert. I'm pretty much of an introvert, even though I have 2 podcasts, I am an introvert. So that was a little difficult. But then when I
Mhm,
went to, there was another one for Juneteenth.
mhm,
And then that, on top of going to the first meetup, I was like, there are a lot of really good, expats, a very good Black community that I can feel comfortable with, that I feel like, okay, if I needed something, I can call someone, I can lean on, get some information. So I'm not recreating the wheel by myself. So that was really eye-opening experience for me because,
Mm.
when we go to these different countries, we really don't know, what the community is going to be like. So it
Yeah.
was really nice and very welcoming to be able to get to know a lot of people while I was out there, that short time I was out there. So,
Mhm.
even though I'm thinking about Porto, though, I am thinking about because Lisbon, while it was nice, it reminded me way too much of San Francisco. So,
Wow.
except a very clean San Francisco. But I'm like,
Okay.
okay, maybe I'll try Porto. And I've been trying to connect with folks out there. So, and I hear they have very good port wine, which is one of my favorite wines.
Yes. Yeah. The wines here are exceptional. Oh my gosh. And then when you go into, the center of the country to
Mhm.
Alentejo and experience those wines. And then a few weeks ago, I was out to dinner with um, my guest from last week, Jeff. I was out with his sister and her husband, and we went to Palacio Chiado, and I had a wine from Azores, and I'd never
Uh-huh.
had a wine from Azores yet. And I was like, oh, this is yummy. Now I've got to take a flight to the islands.
Yes.
But there's so many different cities and places, and I just finished doing our 10-day scouting program with our spring cohort for Nomad Noir, and we went to a bunch of cities. We went to a different city pretty much every day. You'll find what sits right in your heart, and it doesn't have to be where you're going to be, the duration of your time in
Right.
Portugal, but you'll
Exactly.
find your just right space for this first foray.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw Action VJ saying, hopefully the grandbabies will be able to visit. I hope so. Got to get their
Yes,
passports. Get their passports and let's go. So,
yes, yes.
and my kids, I will hope that they would come visit. My
Mhm.
son maybe, my daughter probably more willing to make that trip.
Yeah, yeah. From experience, like my daughter's been here twice, my son 0. So
I don't know what it is with the guys.
yeah,
I
I don't
don't
know what
know.
it is, but it's okay. It's okay. We're working on it. We're working on
Yeah.
it. And look, you can the grandbabies can open up presents at the holidays, and look, there'll be some passports there.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
It's like, woohoo! Look, a gift for you and me.
And me, right.
So, what have you, if you have,
Uh,
what have been some of the reactions to or from people when they know, like maybe I'm assuming in your close circle, they hear that you're moving to Portugal and you're moving without your husband? What have some of the reactions been?
so my daughter is kind of like she's not really believing that I'm gonna do it.
Mm,
So, my son was a little more like, "Oh, okay." Just kinda giving me the side eye.
mm.
Um, my sister is excited because she wants to move with me, so my sister's excited,
Wow.
and she keeps thinking my husband will join me because she says, "He won't be able to last without you for 2 weeks, so he'll
Oh,
be on the plane." He'll be on the plane. Um, some of his friends were like, "You gonna let your wife leave?" I said, "Let me leave." We are
let
right, this is a partnership, not
let
a dictatorship, so
exactly.
but,
Even though, the home country is starting to lean that way, don't mean
right? But, I think the few people that we have told and I've been a little hesitant on really just announcing it to everybody
Mhm.
because I have I wanna make sure that he and I are good.
Mhm.
before I start announcing. And even though I talk about it on the air, I do talk about it on our podcast. And I just want to make sure he's, good. And we've had a lot of discussions about it
Mhm.
before I just tell everybody. My father-in-law kind of knows.
Mm.
I think he was he's a much older gentleman, but he says, "Isn't Portugal a third world country?" I was like, "No, Dad, it's not. It's not." So bless his heart. But,
Oh.
and my mother and my father have passed on, so
Mm.
yeah, but I know my mom would be like, "That's one let's go, do it, Angela, she's
Wow.
always used to tell me, "Reinvent yourself, make sure
Mhm.
that you're always doing something new." So
Yes.
I know she'd be excited. My brother, he's like, "You gotta do whatever you gotta do, Angela." So it's a lot I've gotten a lot of support.
Mhm.
I think it is going to be a little harder for the kid. I shouldn't say kids, they're adults. But my oldest son, my son is 35. They're adults, and my daughter's 25. So they're adults. But I think it's going to be some adjustment for them.
Mhm.
But for the most part, it's been a very positive reaction, and I think a lot of people, even though they don't want to admit that it's a great idea, I think the people that I've talked to and the folks that know, I think it's a little jealousy. I think, they're like, "You really gonna do this? And what if you get out there and you don't like it and blah blah blah." And instead of just admitting maybe that, hey, I wish I were doing that. I wish I could take that bold step.
Mhm.
You'll get some negativity, but for the most part, it's been positive. It's been
Mhm.
positive.
That's great because one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is, well, I strongly feel that representation matters. And so somebody might be grappling with, I have a spouse who isn't quite yet ready to move, or I have, adult children or grandchildren, and
Yeah.
thinking that because these things exist, right? I have children, I have a mom,
Right.
that just by virtue of that reality,
Hmm.
that therefore prevents you from leaving the country, from forming, starting your own life, and you being courageous in doing this. And I've noticed in the time that I've been here, several women who have moved to Portugal and their spouse is in another country. Their spouse
Hmm.
is stateside or came for a bit and went back,
Yeah.
or they moved to another country and their spouse decided to stay, and marriages are intact, right?
Right.
They visit, they set up time to visit, they
Right.
set up time to communicate. And so I guess it all harkens back to what you were talking about, like, the foundational aspects of, mutual respect,
Yeah.
acknowledgement of where you are, and communication about the good things, about the, challenging aspects of it, about, the messy middle, right? You figure it out. So it's like, there's going to be some messy middle. Um, have you guys given thought to that
Excuse me.
communication piece in terms of your husband, you guys, right? You using your words, right? You're locked at the hip, and he's going to be having experiences that you won't be there for. You'll be having experiences that he won't be there for. Have you explored like how you'll be sharing those things with one another while also being respectful of feelings that can come up, right? Like,
Right.
so have you given that much thought?
Yes and no. Um, I think because I'm still working through my own emotions with this,
Mhm.
trying to figure that far, if you want to call it that far down the road, I haven't worked through, but that is, I think that's something I'll talk to my therapist about helping me work through that. Because
Mhm.
when it comes to the communication part, even though we communicate well, I'm kind of the one who will hold back and reserve a lot of things being said, because
Mhm.
I don't want to hurt feelings, or I'm not exactly sure how to express that. Um, but I am grateful that he is one patient with me and has been all these years, but he also is a very good communicator and can kind
Mm,
of pull things out of me when I'm even not ready to talk. So, like I said, yes and no. We've kind of figured out or trying to figure out how that's going to work. Um, for me, as I'm learning to be stronger in what I'm saying and how I'm saying it,
mm,
I think just saying it, just coming out and saying whatever I need to say, um, is how I'm approaching my communication with him and how I'll
mhm,
probably approach it when I'm there. Because trying to figure out feelings and trying to figure out, how I'm going to express this means I might not express it.
mm,
So,
mhm.
yeah, so sometimes
Great
it's just
point.
about, "Hey, I gotta say it, and I'm sorry if I'm hurting feelings or if I'm not saying it correctly." But yeah, that's something I still am working through, trying to figure
Mhm.
out how this communication is going to work when I'm, across the pond.
Yes, yes. And yeah, some things have to be experienced in the moment and
Right,
not, right, sitting in the hypothetical.
right.
Um, so you were talking about, your experiences in Portugal and leaning more towards Porto.
Yeah.
What are the things that excite you most about the move?
Getting to learn another culture
Mm,
because, we're as Black Americans, I know for me, and I hope I'm not upsetting anybody or making anybody angry when I say this, I really don't like white Americans. I really, am not comfortable. So learning another culture and learning how other um, Europeans that are white Europeans, learning how they operate and learning how they interact with people of color, that kind of excites me. I want to
mhm,
learn something new. I've been here all my life. I don't know anything else. I want to
mhm,
be able to relax. I want to be able to just feel like I don't have to that you're not looking at me. And I know some folks will, well, you're fair. You should have had it. All that doesn't matter in America. So I wanna be able to just feel that I can relax and
mhm,
enjoy my life and not worry about, well, are you looking at me because whatever reasons.
mhm,
Um, I can't wait to, some more of the food. Just being able to go to the beach. You guys have an amazing beach. I was there. I forgot the name of the beach, but it was just so beautiful and so relaxing. I just want to calm down. I just want
yeah.
to be able to feel that I can calm down and not be in the hustle and bustle and the grind
Mhm.
and just be. I just
Yeah.
want to just be.
Mhm.
So that's a few of the things I'm looking forward to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being here, and I've still been traveling and I've quite a few trips coming up, but it gives you the opportunity to give your nervous system a break, you know?
Yeah.
We have been through and continue to experience a lot, even when you have that physical distance from the US, you're unlearning, unpacking, reprocessing, or processing for the first time, all of these experiences that are the culmination of a lifetime.
Right.
And doing so within, especially with everything that's going on right now, it's like, oh gosh, I'm still processing this. And then you still have loved ones that are over there. And so that in
Right.
and of itself has its whole host of emotions. Hi, Bailey. I know.
Hi,
She does,
Bailey.
she does not like to be left out, y'all. Do you want to come back and sit on mommy's lap? Is that what it is? Okay. I think we need to bring Bailey back up. Is that what it is? You want to be on the mic? Come here. You can come up. You wanted to say hi to the peoples again? Okay.
She a big girl.
She is a big girl. She's like, I want to be back on your lap. Okay, so now you have to sit still, please. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's being here gives you the chance to just to sit in wonderment. Like today, I was outside walking Bailey, and this rainbow appeared in the sky. And last week, there were two rainbows in the same day that I saw, two different ones, two different places in Portugal, one in the morning and then in the afternoon, another one came out. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I get to stand outside and experience this. And no one's saying, oh, are you loitering? What are you taking photos of? You're
Right.
suspicious. You fit the description, you know, like
Right.
none of those things. And more to the point, my mind is not fixated on
Yeah.
are they thinking these things?
Right.
Where when I was in the States, as I look back, you know, to my earlier comment, I realized that I expended so much mental energy worrying about what other people think. Do I have my hands in my pocket? You know,
Right.
is my hood up? You know, all of these things that, like I said, expend mental energy, diminish who you are because you're trying to shrink yourself to fit what is quote unquote acceptable to someone else. And I think the gift of being abroad or even on this journey is that you are finally afforded the time and the space to explore, to decolonize your mind, to
Mm,
start to question the
right.
things that you've been taught, to evaluate the country of your birth and do so in a way that doesn't paint you as someone who is unpatriotic. You know, it is not that. It's quite the opposite. Um, and it's also challenging to sit at what is a precipice in the country's history and recognize that at the heart of all of this is anti-Blackness.
Right. Right. And I live in, and another thing is, safety. I,
Mm.
I'll say it. I live in Oakland, California. And if anybody knows anything about Oakland, California, that's why, when folks say Portugal, I'm like, I live in Oakland, California. Please. I'll be all right. I will be all right. Okay. So that's another big thing. And I know, for my husband, he's really big on safety. And when I
Mm.
told him, I said, Portugal, seventh safest country in the world.
Mhm.
I mean, come on, women are able to walk down the streets without any problem. And I said, when I was
Mhm.
there, I felt very safe. I felt very comfortable, except for those cobblestones that I almost slipped on a couple times. In my tennis shoes, my
Those
cobblestones.
cobblestones be snatching ankles, let me tell you.
I was like, wait a minute now. But, just being able to feel that I can be out there by myself and feel safe is very important. And I know it makes him, you know, have a sense of relief that okay, not letting, but my wife is going out there. I'm not going to be there to protect her, but
Mhm.
you know, will I need the protection? Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe not, but at least I'll feel safe. And I know I've heard you talk about it, so many times about the safety factor for you being a woman out there
Mhm.
by yourself. So, that's just another thing that I think about. It's the safety aspect.
Mhm.
And like I said, also the medical. I mean,
Yes.
I don't want to go to, not to say that it'll happen, but you just never know. We're getting older,
Mhm.
we never know what's going to happen, and you know we don't need to be spending up our entire retirement savings just because of a medical incident. So
Yes.
there's just so many things that are pushing me and the importance of moving just for those factors, just for the
Mhm.
safety, the medical, the just the, you know, like you said, calming the central nervous system.
Mhm.
It's so important, and you're not. I'm not going to get it here
Yeah.
in America. And I'm not going to move to another state. You know, some people, why don't you just move to another state? No, I'm not moving to another state. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. My husband would never move down south.
Oh, no.
So, right. Oh no, I'm not
No.
going to move to the Midwest.
Mhm.
So, I want to be near water. And that's another thing. Portugal was near water. I was like, oh yeah, buddy.
Yes, yes. I don't, unfortunately, where I live, I don't have a body of water like in my line of sight. But it's a 5-minute walk. And I can see
Oh,
part of the Vasco da Gama Bridge, or I can get on the bus and go to Parc de Niçoise and see the River Teju, all of that, right? So
yeah.
it's not where you have to travel big distance or pay a lot of money. I think back on it now, I spent so much money those last few years going to the Jersey Shore and paying, to get my badge, and you gotta leave your house at like 5 in the morning and beat the traffic and like
Ooh,
all of this stuff. And I'm like, now I just go and I hang out at the beach, beaches everywhere, and beach clubs. Oh my gosh, these beach clubs, amazing. It's like, and you're not limited to just being in Portugal. I'm just
yes.
starting to venture out, and I have, I don't know, because I have a lot of countries I'm hitting this year, but the Canary Islands aren't that far away. Italy, you can go. Spain, of course, to Valencia, to Cadiz. Beautiful beaches. And I'm taking a trip to the French Riviera in May, and so it's like you have Portugal, but you also have access to the entire EU.
Right, right.
And these
I
countries are like states in terms of distance. So it doesn't really take much to go from one place to another. And it's inexpensive. Like you can fly to Italy for like 70 euro.
Yeah. That's and yeah, that's another thing. We don't realize that because, being in America, we are so far away from, you know, other countries, and it is
Mm,
so expensive, and especially being in California. Most of the good places that I would want to visit, I have to fly to the East Coast and then fly from there. So
yeah.
there is that. We are so almost so isolated that
Mhm,
it does keep us from traveling, as Americans, unless you have gobs of money, but
mhm,
traveling to these places and learning about other places and learning that no, we don't live on the best country in the world. We don't live in the best country in the world. And the older I get and the more I realize that, I'm
mhm,
trying to get my children to understand that too, but they'll have to figure it out in their own time.
mhm.
But it's just after this election and
Yeah.
seeing everything that's going on,
Mhm,
um, it just makes you really rethink, what are we doing? Why are we staying? If we can get out of America, why are we staying? What is the benefit? What are we getting out of it? And I know some people will say, well, this is where I've always been. This is where this is what I need to fight for. And I'm at the point, no, no,
mm-mm. My fight
no,
is
thank you.
gone.
Right.
I drink coconut water. I eat mango sticky rice. I lay on beaches. I nap. I
Yes.
rest.
You're
I
right.
don't fight anymore.
Exactly.
No, no,
No. And right. And it's is it our fight anymore? Is it really our fight
no. Mm-mm.
as African Americans? Is it our fight? Nah.
Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. That's why I
We need
saw
to
the stuff
we didn't
about
cause the problem.
no. And we
So,
tried to fix the problem, right?
yeah, yeah.
Barack came and tried to clean up Bush's mess. And they just,
Yeah.
all of this is backlash, right,
Yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
then Kamala gets thrown in at the 11th hour, literally.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh no. And as soon as you come in, oh, we've got to paint over, not even paint over, they just bulldoze, you know, all
Yes.
of these murals and rolling back. And I've always said to my mother, and we've been having these, conversations, because I've said to her for years, I would drive her nuts on the weekends when I, do my hair, and it takes forever. When my hair was longer, to twist it. And I would watch these documentaries on the weekends, all this stuff that they had done. And I'm like, can you believe this? And da 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 da. And I said, Ma, anything amended can be unamended.
Right. Yeah.
And we saw it with Roe v. Wade. We saw that these tests, that, oh, we're going to test and see how far we can push it with the Constitution. Test how
Right.
far we can push the Supreme
Right.
Court. Test, oh, we're deporting people. Oh, they're legal residents. Oh,
Yes.
right? For
Yes.
money.
Right.
And this isolationism, right? This
Right.
isolationist, US, to your point, geographically has its own challenges, but now you want to start trade wars with your neighbors to the north and the south. Like the whole continent. That's
Yeah.
not smart.
No, it's not. Yoga Bliss said, did she, Yoga Bliss, the reason why I am going first by myself is one, my husband's a single child. So his father's still around. So he's not going to leave his dad. And I totally get it. And he's a musician. So he has a lot of connections here in the United States. So, and he has to come when he's ready. So,
Mhm.
and for me, I look at it this way. I'm going to go out there, get everything ready. And when he's ready to come and, when he's able to make that move, then everything will be set and ready for him to get there. So that's the reason why, I'm going to be doing it alone at this time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Karen said, I'm done with fighting. I want rest. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Watching them tear up Black Lives Matter Plaza. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? Um, so I'm going to go to the top of the comments to see if there's any questions. And if you all have any questions for Angela while we are live, go and feel free to put them in the chat. Yeah, luxury bucket list made a great point. Military families, they do it,
Yeah.
and alignment and intentionality, absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hmm. Karen said, "Give them grandbabies a new adventure and a sense of freedom.
Exactly.
We as people have been migrating for a better life for generations. Absolutely, it's
Hmm.
your turn. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes." Yes. Hey, word up with Temple. How are you? Yes, he gets to brag about his worldly wife. That's right.
Hey, Temple.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, it's very admirable. And like I said, you will find, especially here, that you will not be alone, that there are women that are doing it. And the more I started to see, like, that they have a spouse, their marriages are intact, they're
Right.
living their full life. And, from what I've been hearing anecdotally, of course, is though, they've been able to have richer experiences, because, we talked about some of it earlier, right? The change in communication, that's just natural. Um, the fact that you have more things to talk about, the
Yeah.
energy
True.
changes. It's not like, how's your day? Oh, did you see what they did on the news? Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not this reactionary circular conversation that can happen in
Mhm.
some settings, is that you have more things, more from the well to pull from.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, where's my scroll? Where's my scroll? Come back. Oh, there it is. uh, um, Cynthia said, Angela, you said it loud. I have an embedded distrust of white Americans, yet it is intriguing to me to see others outside of America. Learning a new culture is so enticing. Absolutely. I think when I went to New Zealand for the first time, I was nerved up and I was solo. And I was like, oh, I'm ready. Like, and I was like, oh my, and y'all know how much I love New Zealand. But that's when I started to realize it's like, oh, it's the ones that are in my country.
Mm,
It's like,
exactly.
y'all cut from a different cloth.
Right, and I
The
don't
one
want
that had that hood with the eye holes. Okay, got it.
and I don't wanna feel like that. I don't wanna
Mhm,
feel that all white folks are the same because I know they're not,
mhm,
but
mhm,
right now, that's all I know. So and I don't know, I just I want to see a different side. I wanna see someone else's culture and just experience that. And
mm,
not think this is how it is everywhere in the world because it's not. And that's
yeah,
why I said listening to you and so many other women and podcasters that I've listened to, you have given me a different perspective on, well, it's not like that everywhere.
mhm,
Um, but I want to experience that for myself. And
yeah,
I would definitely want, my husband to experience that, being a black man,
absolutely,
you know.
yes,
He doesn't know any different than I do, so,
mhm.
yeah. Rick, it says, "When are you coming?" I'm working through Rick, I can't say a definitive answer. First it was gonna be this year, but I am working through some fears right now.
Mhm,
So that's why I don't know if you heard in the beginning, I'm going through therapy so I can work through this, but it's definitely going to be sooner than later, especially now. Mr. Orange Man is doing some really crazy stuff. I can't say thankfully in California, we're not feeling those effects except the
mhm,
financial part of it. We're not
yeah,
feeling all the other craziness that you might
mhm,
be feeling in the South or, back East. But sooner than later. I would say
mhm,
that sooner than later. So,
mhm. Yeah, and one thing that you can consider is, as Americans, you have 90 days that you can be in the Schengen zone on your tourist visa,
right. Yeah.
putting residency aside for a moment. And you can do a dry run, as you start to work through and process these normal and natural emotions. You
Yeah.
can do 3 month stint or less and just see how that feels first
Yeah.
before you get to that, bigger step. And that
Right.
gives you both, a way to try it out, to give each other feedback. It's in a sense less risky because you haven't done the big move,
Right. Yeah.
and it allows you time to try it on for size, if you will.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see if there are any other questions. Yeah, Cynthia agreed with the comment that you said before. It's like, move to another states now.
All right.
That's a wrap.
Mm-mm. Not even wasting my money doing that.
Mhm. Mhm. Karen said, "I just want Angela to feel supported. Trust yourself. You've been married so long. You know how to negotiate and get what's best for you and your family. You got this."
Thank you, Karen.
Aw, thank you. That's so
Thank you.
thoughtful. Yeah, so I don't have any more questions. Is there any advice that you would have for somebody who is contemplating a move, maybe have a desire that they
Mhm.
haven't shared with their spouse,
Yeah.
or maybe internally has written it off for themselves or delayed
Right.
this because they think that it's not possible given their situation? What would you say?
I would say definitely don't give up if this is
Mhm,
something you really feel in your soul that you need to do, then you need to have that. You definitely need to have that conversation with your partner, and you have to be open and authentic about your feelings. And then, of course, listen to your partner's concerns or feelings and continue to have that communication. But don't give up on what you want to do in order to make your partner, you know, feel comfortable, because it's
Mhm.
going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be some uncomfortable conversations. Um, and if you have to, seek therapy. If you really feel that you're at a roadblock,
Mhm.
whether it's your roadblock or your partner's roadblock or both your roadblocks together, seek
Mhm.
some therapy. And you just keep moving forward, but don't give up on your dream, because
Mhm.
you will regret it. I think you will regret it. So,
Mhm. Yeah, make the move because no one can ever take that from you.
mm-mm,
You
no,
know,
right.
this experience is your experience. This is your life. And then you have a shared life that you two have built together. And so I am excited for both of you as
Thank
you
you.
embark in this new chapter in your relationship. I am sending all of the positive vibes to the both of you as you
Thank you.
navigate this new journey together.
Thank
And, you know, from the comments in the community, there are people who are feeling the same way. So
you.
just know that as you guys move forward.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on and allowing me to share
Welcome.
my journey, the
Yeah,
beginning
yeah,
parts of my
yeah.
journey. So, and talking through, being honest about my fears about it. So, thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome. You're welcome. And so, those of y'all who are still tuned in, hit the like button on your way out. Be sure to share this because whether it's you or somebody you know, they may be feeling like, oh, I can't because. But guess what? Everybody, there's somebody on this planet that's going through something similar to what you're going through.
Exactly.
And you never know until you see and hear, and you're like, oh, wow, I never thought about that, right? That's why representation matters. That's why we keep telling these stories and giving the different perspectives. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And before y'all leave, make sure you join. In the description of this video is the link to subscribe to Angela's YouTube channel so you can hear more about her and her husband and their journey and listen to her podcast. All right.
Thank you.
So I will see y'all next week. Ciao, ciao.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Angela.